news is filled with reports about violence, murder, sex, and drugs, but there are other stories left untold. They are about men and women who give their time, energy, dreams, and even their lives to make San Francisco a better place. They are everybody's angels.
Have you heard about the internationally known show Angels in America? Well, it actually started right here in San Francisco. And our next guest is with the Eureka Theater. His name is Bill Schwartz, and he is their volunteer executive producing director. We think you'll certainly agree that he looks like a real angel.
Hi, Pari.
Bill, you know, I've had a lot of people come on the show that were very angelic, but no one has brought their own real wings.
Well, I'm a good person, but I really don't have my own wings.
Now, where do these come from?
Well, these are the original wings that were used in the production of Angels in America when it was begun, when it was originated at the Eureka Theater right here in San Francisco. And that show went on to play all around the world. One of the biggest hits that ever was produced in a small regional theater. It played in 27 countries, and amazingly, throughout the Far East, South America, everyone around the world has seen this show.
Well, I guess we could say here in San Francisco, it's really a big feather in your cap.
It certainly was, and it's a very heavy feather, so I think I'll just take it off while we talk some more.
Those are pretty heavy.
If I can get it off.
Well, tell us about also some of the bigger hits that you've had. Besides Angel in America, what are some of the other hits you've had?
Well, there were 112 productions over 25 years, Pari. It was a very, very long run that the Eurekas had, producing plays of Sam Shepard and Dario Fo, Carol Churchill, Emily Mann. Many of these were premieres. I mean, that we introduced many of the major playwrights of today. So it's had a terrific history.
And hasn't there been a sort of a lull, though, where it has had to be built back up?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the last playhouse, the last home for the Eureka was at Harrison and 16th Streets. And at that point, around 1992, the theater just wasn't doing that well. Some key people left. And I've come in there recently to try to resurrect the Eureka Theater, and that's what we're doing now. And we're on the comeback, and we're putting together an exciting season for next year, and we have a lot of supporters in the community.
Well, what are some of the new shows that you've got coming up?
Well, we have a very exciting show called Shooting Simone. And this is a show about Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir and their relationship and his infidelity and her feminism. And it's a wonderful play written by a local playwright, in fact, Lynn Kaufman. And we're talking to a very exciting actor, very well known in San Francisco, Peter Donat, about doing the Sartre role. And while I must say it's not definite, he's very interested in doing it if his schedule permits. And as you know, he's had a long career at ACT and has been in television and on film.
Well, he's very well known. And let's get back to a little bit about yourself, Bill. How did you get started in this? This is quite unusual. How did you get started?
Well, you mean in the theater, or I mean with respect to the Eureka?
With the actual Eureka, I guess.
Eureka?
Let's start with that.
Well, about a year, actually by now a year and a half ago, the board president had asked me to join the board. And I've been on some boards, and to me it's just not as exciting as being really in there and really sinking my teeth into it. And I saw the opportunity to take something that I thought would be a real cultural contribution to the community and resurrect it and get it back on track. So I said to the board president, I tell you what, I won't join the board. I'll become the executive director, and I'll work for nothing, and I'll even make a contribution. And so I made them an offer.
How can you afford that? How can you afford to do that, Bill?
Well, I was very lucky. I formed a public relations agency in the early 80s that specialized in high technology companies. And the timing couldn't have been better because Silicon Valley was just emerging at that point. The PC revolution was just beginning, and I had a firm that was in the right place at the right time. So it grew, and I was able to sell it, and so I'm able to do this as a volunteer.
Well, we want to thank you so much, and we'll be looking forward to the Shooting Simone. But we want to give you our gold angel pin for being on our show today.
Right, great.
And to thank you so much. Now, As far as actually volunteering is concerned, what is your big joy? What do you really get out of doing this?
Well, you know, for me, I am very excited by talent and by performance. And those are really the root driving forces for me. I just, there's nothing that excites me more than a wonderfully talented person and a wonderful performance. And that's my pleasure in this as a producer, to bring the talent to the community that may be at an earlier stage in their development, and bring an exciting performance, a new playwright, a new actor, a new performer into the spotlight. And you know, the Eureka but early in their careers we had Danny Glover and Anna DeVere Smith and David Strathairn, who's now a movie star.
Well, thank you so much for giving us that information, and you're doing a great job at Eureka. I've heard great things about you. We want to thank you so much for being on our show.